You are so welcome. I am Dr. Gijo Aibapri Hari, and I have a lecture to present to you on the carbon cycle. Now, what is the carbon cycle? The carbon cycle basically refers to the circulation of carbon in various forms through nature. Now, carbon is a very important element that's found in various compounds. In the atmosphere, the carbon exists as carbon dioxide, but carbon is also involved or is also available in living organisms in form of carbohydrates, and it's also a component of the body of virtually all living organisms. So, carbon has to be circulated uh, for life to continue. Now, how is carbon being introduced into the biosphere? Now, carbon that exists in the form of carbon dioxide is usually introduced into the biosphere when plants uh, carry out photosynthesis. Now, through the process of photosynthesis, carbon dioxide is utilized to produce carbohydrates in the chlorophyll of the plants, in the chloroplast. Now, carbohydrates are then made available to animals when the animals consume the plants. Now, when plants and animals eventually die, the carbon in them is then returned back to the soil. The carbon is returned back to the soil, and the the composition of carbon now results in the production of fossil fuel, because fossil fuel also accumulates over time, hundreds or millions of years after the decomposition of carbon that accumulates in the soil. It now results in the production of fossil fuel. And when the fossil fuel is harvested or is explored and is burnt, carbon dioxide returns back to the atmosphere. Now, the animals that also consume the carbon from the plants also respire, and the respiration of animals returns carbon dioxide back to the atmosphere. And combustion of woods and other substances also returns carbon back to the atmosphere. Same thing happens in the aquatic ecosystem. Carbon dioxide exists in dissolved form, and the carbon dioxide is utilized by aquatic organisms such as the phytoplanktons or other aquatic macrophytes to carry out photosynthesis, and oxygen is being liberated. The carbon that's the product of photosynthesis, which is carbohydrates, is being obtained by animals, maybe fish or the zooplanktons, and the zooplanktons are in turn being eaten by the fish or other larger predators. Now, when these organisms also die in the aquatic ecosystem, the decomposition of these organisms returns carbon back to the soil, and the process of aerobic decomposition also produces carbon dioxide that's liberated, and the cycle continues. Thanks a lot for watching. I believe you must have learned a lot from this video on the carbon cycle. Keep watching more from my YouTube and TikTok channels, and you'll be glad you did. Don't forget to subscribe.